Hi guys, welcome back to sTutorials. Cape Tourism Unit 2. In today's video, we're looking at past paper question for the exam year 2016, and we're focusing on question 1. It reads, identify 3 tourism stakeholder groups. 3 marks. Outline 3 reasons why the community is an important stakeholder. 6 marks. Explain 2 ways in which government contributes to tourism development. 6 marks. Now let's take things in details. And the first part of the question, identify 3 tourism stakeholder groups. Let us look at what they are. So you have the community, the government, tourists, businesses or private sector, and also non-governmental organizations. Now, any 3 selected from this list is the ideal response. Next part, outline 3 reasons why the community is an important stakeholder. Now, let us look why the community is an important stakeholder. Tourism development depends upon community buy-in for its success. Much of the customer encounters that tourists experience have to be delivered by residents who are often employees. If there is a resentment or tension among residents because of tourism development, then it would be felt by tourists in the service they encounter, right? So if there's resentment because of tourist development or tourist activities and businesses that the community is not happy with, then they will deliver poor service. Good. Another factor is, or another reason is, the community is often the group most affected by tourism, either positively, which in terms of them gaining employment, or negatively, such as dislocation of their houses, noise and dust caused by construction. Now, developers should seek to mitigate the negative impacts as much as possible and inform the community of any adverse impacts that will occur as a result of the development, right? So they have to put everything into place to prevent residents from being irritated, good, as that will affect business. Also, it is important for communities to have a say in any development that impacts upon their quality of life. In this regard, developers and government must make every effort to involve them in the decision-making process, garner their views on how they will be impacted by the development, and inform them of some of the benefits and costs of the development, right? Also, to achieve long-lasting sustainable outcomes from tourism development, communities must be active participants. Community members may have knowledge about the community that other stakeholders are not privy to, right? Now you're supposed to outline 3 reasons. Those are some reasons that we just discussed. And of course, you would have 2 marks each for each reason given, right? Now let's move on to the next part. Explain 2 ways in which government contributes to tourism development. 6 marks, right? So the first way we're looking at is provider of infrastructure. Government provides the necessary infrastructure such as road, land, airport, seaport, solid waste disposal, etc. for tourism to thrive. Many of these services can only be provided by the government, and so government involvement in tourism is very important. Another way that the government can contribute to tourism development is being a regulator. Now, regulations governing visa restrictions, operating licenses, fire and safety licenses must be granted by government for tourism business to operate. The objective of the regulations is to protect locals and tourists from potential risk. Another way is law or policy maker. Government develops laws to manage the tourism industry. For example, for visa, the establishment of tourist boards or authorities or for the provision of duty-free concessions. It also develops policies or plans for management of the destination. Right? Government facilitates tourism development through the provision of tax concessions, reduction of duties on certain imported items, and in some cases provide network links that can assist the local industry. Government facilitates tourism development by encouraging entrepreneurial activity, and also they facilitate tourism development by attracting and facilitating local and foreign investment in tourism ventures, right? Other ways they can contribute are being an investor. When the private sector may be sometimes reluctant to invest in tourism development, government takes the lead by investing in hotels, attractions, and other types of development. For example, Hilton Barbados is owned by the government of Barbados. Good. Now, let's look at another way in which government can contribute to tourism development, right? And this is by being an investor. When the private sector may be sometimes reluctant to invest in tourism development, government takes the lead by investing in hotels, attractions, and other types of development. For example, Hilton Barbados is owned by the government of Barbados. All right. Another way is being a promoter. Government is the entity stakeholder most often tasked with marketing or promoting the destination and its attributes. This is not a role for the private sector, as they are likely to promote themselves rather than the country. Now, marketing the destination requires substantial financing, which the government often provides, right? And the final two ways in which they can contribute, which we're looking at now, are provider of training and provider of information. As it relates to provider of training, through subsidized education through schools, community colleges, and universities, through offering relevant workshops and also seminars. As it relates to the provider of information on resource information such as resource management and protection, developing and managing various types of tourism business, right? We just looked at all the ways in which government contributes to tourism development. So you were supposed to select two ways and explain. So any two ways selected from these that we've just explained would have been ideal responses, right? All right, guys, and that is it for this question. Good luck.
You're awesome. You've made it to the end of the session. Please remember to like, subscribe, and also share with persons who you know would find this information useful. Thank you for making it Fairclough Tutorials.